Welcome everyone, episode 19. Super happy to be back. And today we have a very special guest. This is also our first female guest, so we're super proud of that. So thank you, Holly Carroll, for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, same as us. So I guess we're always going to start, as always, a little background about yourself, let everyone know, and then we'll dive right in.
Absolutely. So I was an international model for 17 years.
Wow.
Yes. So I kind of have a background in marketing, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually started my license in LA.
Wow.
And I wanted to do real estate there.
Okay.
But the universe had other plans, which actually turned out really well.
Yeah.
I started my real estate career in the beaches.
Nice.
Didn't really do too much transactions. Actually did my very first deal in Oshawa, of all places.
Wow, that's cool.
Which I've never shared on a podcast before. And then I started condos downtown, King West, kind of lived that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Also didn't really get the plane off the ground. I was kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You probably know how that is.
For sure.
The balance.
Yes.
And then during the pandemic, I started going up to Muskoka.
Wow.
I didn't want to be in the city.
You
Nobody
did.
really did, right?
You didn't like it that much.
It just,
Wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me. I think for the longest time, probably 2 years going into being in the city, I kind of wanted to leave, but I didn't really know there was other options. So the pandemic kind of pushed me out, which was the best thing that ever happened to me. Yeah. So I kept going up there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Why don't I sell here?
Yeah. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
And it took off. And I've never looked back.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's such a, well, we'll definitely talk into it, but it's such a unique market to be in compared to all the areas around us from Toronto and up north.
Absolutely.
So it's a really, really cool that you went from anywhere else than Toronto to Muskoka. It's a big hop, you know?
It is.
So it's awesome.
And it's completely different.
Yeah.
Like I sell cottages, which was also kind of an adjustment for me. Condos to cottages, right?
Big size difference too. Yes.
Yeah.
How was that process, like, when you first got into it?
It was good. You know, it was very busy at that time because everybody wanted to get out of the city.
Yes.
And we couldn't really travel, right?
Yes.
So people were thinking, okay, we still need a getaway.
Yep.
So a lot of people were doing it. So I was kind of just pushed into the lion's den.
Okay.
Which, in hindsight, was wonderful.
Yeah.
Because I just had to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what you can just Google sometimes.
Yes. You just find things.
You just figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And I was so blessed that I had so many clients, and I just started to live the lifestyle and then sell the lifestyle and promote the lifestyle. And so people were coming to me.
Yeah.
It was really great.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so I don't want to get into much real estate yet because you have a big past, obviously, that no one talks about. So let's get into how you made that transition. What made you leave the modeling space into real estate in the first place?
I think the modeling world for me at that time was starting to fizzle out.
Okay.
I didn't want to travel that much anymore. I was doing sort of promo modeling, which I felt like my age was getting a little bit older.
Yeah.
Not necessarily my look, but I was like, there's something I can do more. Like I felt like I had a little bit more to say. I had a little bit more to inspire, to teach.
Yeah.
Like I had a little bit more potential that I might have been.
Vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved people. I loved sales. I actually dabbled in some network marketing.
Oh, okay.
Which was wonderful, but also very tricky.
Okay, for sure. Yeah.
I'm sure you know.
Yes.
However, it really teaches you how to dream, how to visualize, how to sales. It really teaches you
really
sales.
Creative.
Right?
Yes.
And so I had that drive, and then I had a lot of people saying, you need to get into real estate, you need to get into real estate. And I heard them say that for a while.
Yeah, keep it in the back of your mind.
Keep in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, when I started my course here, I always wanted to sell in Muskoka, but I thought there's no way that I could.
Think you could go up there? And
I didn't think I could make a career out of it.
Okay.
I thought maybe one-offs, sure.
Yeah. Couple deals here and there type of thing.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of the transition at first. And at first, I kind of kept the modeling, kept the events.
Kept it going.
Yeah. And so I didn't really take real estate that seriously.
Okay.
Or myself in that business.
Wow.
Until I really made that move to Muskoka. Yeah.
Fully.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so how long you been in Muskoka now, let's say?
3 years.
3 years, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, big change for sure.
Big change, big lifestyle change.
Yes.
Which is also what I needed.
Yeah.
I lived and breathed the King West lifestyle.
Yes, yeah.
So it was not sustainable, to say the least.
For sure.
I'm sure you know what I mean there too.
Yeah. Oh, especially traffic too. God.
Yeah,
that's a big change. Yeah, that's awesome. And so tell me, Holly, when you're up there now, have you ever like had a regret or said like, oh shit, maybe I should go back?
It's funny you say that because the first year I actually kept my condo.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, downtown Toronto.
You didn't
kept
know.
it. Never,
that's fair. That's a good idea.
Just in case, because there were so many unknowns during the pandemic as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And I thought I didn't know how long that was going to last. I didn't know how long my career was going to last.
Yes.
So I kept it, and I never went there. It basically just housed my stuff. It housed my stuff, and I think sort of that mindset too of maybe I'll go back almost held me back.
Wow.
So as soon as I was like, it's time to just be in Muskoka, fully, mentally, physically, spiritually, everything.
Yeah.
And then I just made the decision I'm never going back.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's a big risk to do as well, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if I had any regrets, you know.
That's good.
Last year was a bit slower, I think, for a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah.
So
transitioning back.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And like the interest rates and whatever, you know, we don't need to get into that. But I'm sure we hear about that enough.
Every day.
Right?
Yeah.
So last year was a bit different.
Okay.
And so I did have a couple thoughts, like, is this going to be sustainable for a full-time real estate agent in Muskoka?
Yes.
So I did have my doubts, but those were quickly diminished. Because, I mean, when you doubt yourself or you doubt it, then you're just going to find other things that may prove that.
Yeah.
So I don't have time for that.
Exactly.
I'm the real estate queen of Muskoka.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You got to have that mindset too, right? If you don't, it's not going to help you succeed in any way.
It's not. And if you have that vision and that belief in yourself, you're going to see other things that prove that.
Yeah, it's going to come all together when the end of the day.
Yeah, and opportunities. And now I'm so immersed in the community.
Yep.
When I was not doing real estate or in between transactions, I would volunteer at the women's shelter.
Oh, cool.
I would volunteer at the food bank.
Yep.
And so that was also getting my name out there.
You got involved in the community.
I got involved in the community, and I met some really great people.
Yeah.
And at first it was like, are there any young people here?
All retired.
All retired. Yeah, so I was like, is there anybody like me?
Yeah.
So now I love it. Like,
for sure.
I'm even going tonight after the podcast. I'm going to a thing called Mom Prom.
Wow.
Which is like a ladies' event.
Nice.
So it's a beautiful, vibrant place to be.
For sure.
If you involve yourself in the community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. And you hear it more and more now too, people like yourself who are moving up into areas that are so different from the city.
Yeah.
Right? And not a lot of people can handle that. So I give hats off to you. Like, if you enjoy it and that's what you want to do, go full force, right?
I totally agree. And there was a lot of things that I had to adjust to. There's no Uber Eats.
No. Yeah.
There's no cabs even.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
there isn't.
There's really no nightlife, quote unquote.
For
there's
sure.
not much going on. I mean, now there's events coming back around, but like they're few and far between.
Yep.
So, you know, you get all those options in the city.
Yes. Yeah.
But the funny thing is you don't actually need those options.
No.
They're almost harmful.
Yeah. Yeah, no way. 100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I do a lot more, you know, soul searching. I do a lot more nature walks. I do a lot more just relaxing.
Yeah, for yourself.
For myself. Yeah.
Self-wellness. That's awesome.
Self-wellness, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, well, I mean, we could talk about that. That's a big part, especially in any career.
Yes.
But how has that played a part for you in the real estate world?
Huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge. I mean, one of the things that I wanted to talk about that just kind of had a download was this the balance between masculine and feminine energy.
For sure.
And I don't mean man or woman.
No.
Like, naturally men have more masculine and women have more feminine, but I think in the real estate world and sales world, I'll say, to broaden for the guests, it's sort of this culture to be very masculine.
Yeah.
And masculine is great.
Yep.
It's the discipline, it's the action taking, it's the doing. So you definitely need that.
Yep.
However, we need to find a balance between the feminine energy, which is the receiving, the being, the intuitive hits.
Yes.
Because I think what happens, and I can admit to this. Sometimes I get too much in the doing.
Oh, for sure.
That I'm not open to receive.
For sure.
I don't know. I just breeze by those opportunities.
You go right for it.
You go right for it. Like, picture yourself driving to a destination and you're literally just looking forward. Well, you're going to miss it.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? So I sometimes have to stop myself if I'm feeling, it's funny, because if I'm feeling overwhelmed, like I'm not doing enough, like my calendar is too full, those doubts, it's usually when I need to slow down, not speed up.
Yes, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
And I spend a lot of time in my feminine because I think that it's very powerful as well.
Yes.
And that's when I get my intuitive hits.
Wow.
That's when where's my next move?
Yeah.
That's where I'm attracting as well, not just projecting.
Yep.
So I still have to find the balance or be self-aware of it.
For sure. For sure.
But yeah, that has been my biggest growth, I think, is managing the two.
For sure.
I think too, like women in this industry, or any type of sales industry, they want to be more masculine.
Okay.
Because it's kind of a masculine industry. However, our power kind of lays in the feminine. It lays in the nurturing, in the belief, in the creative.
Yes.
So yeah, anybody that's kind of listening out there, find the balance, and I think that you will even promote better masculine.
For sure.
If that makes any
sense. For
sure.
Yeah. It's a really cool way to put it. For sure.
Yeah, and I mean, there's very easy ways to get in your feminine energy.
Yeah.
I know men don't really want to hear that, but I think we're a little evolved, right?
100%. 100%.
There's very easy ways to do it. You could just go for a walk without your phone.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big meditator. I'm also a big visualizer. I'm visualizing a $7.5 million listing that I'm selling on Lake Joe.
Wow, good for you.
And when I visualize it, when I go in, I picture this incredible broker's open.
Wow.
Okay, now stay with me.
Yeah, I'm there.
And when there's this huge big door that I have to open up when people come in and I'm greeting them. Yeah. There is a band, like a solo band playing in the side.
Jazz band,
like just like that vibe.
Yeah.
There's hors d'oeuvres. It's a huge A-frame cottage that overlooks the water.
Yep. Waterfront.
Yeah. And then down outside by the dock and by the yard, there's a bonfire going with s'mores, but like luxury s'mores, if you will.
Not the full cottage. Yes. Yeah.
But when you walk in, you get that full feeling of entertainment and that cottage lifestyle. People are coming in with their boats. I don't know of this listing just yet, but I'm visualizing that so that when
100%.
So that when I wake up in the morning, I move my masculine energy towards it, but I visualize it to me. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. It's a full circle at the end.
It's kind of a full circle. It's a balance. It's a lifestyle balance.
It is. Yeah.
And it's
very
fun.
True.
It's kind of fun.
It's also definitely an awesome process to go through.
Right?
For sure. For sure. I think that's not to hate on any of the other type of real estate agents, but I think in Muskoka, it's definitely such a more creative process to go through a listing than it is through, let's say, a condo.
I agree.
Right?
Which for me is the fun part.
Yeah.
So I have sort of branded myself as a waterfront specialist.
Yes.
On the luxury side, but waterfront is kind of luxury anyways, right?
Yeah, overall.
Right? So I've kind of branded myself that way, so generally those are the clients I'm getting.
Yep.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't take something off water.
For sure.
But it'd be more beneficial for the clients to use me as a waterfront specialist because of the creative that I put into it. Vision. So, I mean, I'm sure you've seen my Instagram. Yep. Like, I have fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fishing
really
off
cool
the dock.
Videos, cool.
Yeah, right?
Like, really nice stuff.
When I want you to feel that emotion when you see the video of the cottage, right?
It's awesome.
That's the best thing about owning a cottage.
Yep.
Is you there making memories with your family. Yep. Having s'mores, fishing off the dock. That's so
that's what you think of a cottage right away. So
and that's when I talk about it, it makes me feel passionate. So I'm going to sell.
That's what you need,
and I'm going to put more into it.
Yes. Yeah. You have to be passionate about it.
Right. You have to. I'm not very passionate about selling a condo in the city.
Yeah.
And that could be why it never really took off.
For sure.
Didn't. You know. Yeah.
And then you needed to find that.
Exactly.
For sure. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so let's go towards a little bit about, I know you talked off camera about your word this year's impact, right?
Yes.
So that impact that you had when you went into this real estate market, how was it, the reaction from the people around you when you switched your career?
I had a pretty good reaction.
That's good.
Yeah, I had a pretty good reaction because I think people, it looked like it clicked for me.
Yeah. It made sense.
Yeah. And a lot of people talk about authenticity, right?
Sure. For sure.
And you can tell if someone's not being authentic or if they are, right?
Yes.
And I think that Muskoka fit me.
Yep.
Like, I felt like it was home.
Yep.
I was able to be authentic.
Yep.
You know, when I joined the agency, I was able to be really myself.
For sure.
And I think that it's hard not to accept that because you're like, well, that's her, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool to hear.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I think that's what it was. It was accepted because it was the real me.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool. So I have an interesting question for you. As a woman, right?
Okay.
In real estate, what do you think are the main 3, let's say, morals or values you have to have in the industry as a woman?
As a woman, I think that what's really coming up is you don't have to say yes.
Okay.
To like money.
Yeah.
Per se, right?
Okay.
So I've had some terrible clients.
For sure.
And I was just starting out, so I thought that I had to, take this client on.
Yeah.
And the red flags were there.
For sure.
They really were.
For sure.
And I think that women have a very good intuitive system.
Yep.
Men do too.
Yeah.
But generally we're just a little bit more in tuned. And so I think that all women in this industry should really listen to that. Nothing bad happened.
Okay,
but
good.
Going back, I could have maybe planted my feet and my energy a little bit different before getting involved.
Yep.
I think that it was easy for him to kind of manipulate the situation and overpower me because I didn't really have as much experience, quote unquote, at the time.
You were just starting at the time.
I was just starting at the time.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'll do this, when really I shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have to hang out with you and go for lunch with you. You know, those types of things where you're thinking it's
normal.
It's normal, right? So I think that listen to your gut.
Yep.
And if they're serious, they're serious.
Yep.
So ask them those questions. Like, I was always afraid at first to ask them, like, how serious they were questions. Because I didn't want to push them away.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that fear came from, but if they're serious, they're serious.
Yep.
So ask them early enough so you don't have to go through that.
For sure.
Yes, so that's my main things. I also think that going back to the masculine and feminine sort of balance, I think you should know your strengths and flaunt them.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it. Yeah. So women typically have more feminine energy, which is the creative, the nurturing, the belief. Yes. And I think that that's a powerful energy for real estate and any sales.
Yeah.
So I think specifically for women, use that.
Yeah, you have to.
Use that. We're also really good at events and gathering.
Yes.
And that's and giving back. So that's such a great way to lean into it. It's not specifically real estate, but it is. It comes back around.
It comes in. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I think those are my 3 tips. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool. Awesome. And so we're looking at the book here.
Okay.
And we thank you for bringing it.
You're welcome.
It was awesome. So let's talk about the process. Congrats. Like, how did this come about?
Thank you. I've wanted to write a book for 10 years.
Yeah.
It wasn't a real estate book. It was actually
personal.
It was a personal sort of my struggles and what have gone, but how I overcame them and how I use them.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually still writing that book.
Cool. That's okay.
Yeah.
Take your time.
It's hopefully called Closing Deals and Heels.
Closing Deals. Oh yes, I heard of this.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
So in the process, I was like, I just want to write a simple facts book.
Okay.
Back to the basics about how to sell your house.
Awesome.
Negotiating, curb appeal. Informative.
Yes. Yep.
And, there's a couple reasons why I did that. One, for credibility.
For sure.
Right?
100%.
It's a very easy read,
yep.
which is also what... Yeah, it's a very easy read, which is also what I think a lot of us do is we try to overcomplicate the situation.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we just get overwhelmed. Yeah. So it's very, very easy. And it's gotten me on this podcast, I think.
Yeah. No, of course.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And how was the process for you, like time-wise? Did it take a lot of back-end, let's say, production and research for yourself to create it?
It did. It was hybrid publishing.
Okay.
So I did have somebody help me write it
Yep.
and publish it.
Awesome.
So there was just a lot of research, and I tried to sort of factor it into that cottage lifestyle.
Awesome. Towards your niche.
Towards my niche, exactly. So there's a few things up there like that what you wouldn't think of when you're buying water or when you're buying cottages.
Yes, for sure. It's awesome.
So now I want to speak on the world stage.
Go for it.
So hopefully that the book
really
will help.
100%.
Yeah.
It's a great topic to bring up.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk about again your niche, right? At the waterfront properties. From your perspective, being there 3 years, what's the biggest thing that you see in a waterfront that stands out right away?
Probably, well, I want to say view.
Yeah.
But it's view, really.
Yeah.
When you walk in, if I can see the water from all of the rooms in the house, that's key. Because what does water do to your soul, right?
Yeah.
So that's
waking
usually
up in the morning.
Waking up in the morning.
Yeah.
I also look at sort of, for me, I really like a clear view.
Yep.
So again, not a lot of trees, completely open.
Yeah.
The things I like to do at a cottage would be, bonfire, dock, swim off the dock, boats.
Yeah, awesome.
So like those types of things. Boathouses are really, really sexy.
Especially Muskoka. I think
Muskoka.
that's the main area that really has them. Yeah.
It's so nice, right?
Awesome.
Some of the things that are more desirable in the cottage market are western views, so the sunset.
Yep.
I particularly like the east views better for the sunrise because I live there.
Yeah.
So I like to wake up to the sun.
Yes.
But I work
sunset.
and live there.
Yeah.
So it would be different if you cottaged there,
For sure.
right?
For sure.
And access. So the reason why people love the big three is because you can access them all together.
Wow.
They're a lot bigger lots.
Yep.
You can get to all the sort of shops and the cities and the towns
The local
throughout.
areas,
It's where it's busy.
Wow.
But what people don't know is there's 1,600 lakes in Muskoka.
Wow.
And people only think there's 3.
Wow. They think they're just the main 3.
Just 3.
Wow.
I mean, they probably think there's a little bit more, but there's 1,600 lakes.
Wow.
And there was only 40 cottages sold last year on Lake Muskoka. So, like, and anybody looking for a cottage in Muskoka, I would encourage you to step off the big lakes and have a look because they have all the same feelings.
Yes, for sure. Doesn't have to be the biggest lake.
It doesn't have to be the biggest lake.
It's built a piece at the end of the day.
It's just not a piece at the end of the day. Most people don't even leave their cottages when they get
exactly. Can relate to that,
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool. So let's talk about a little bit, like, what was your most memorable moment when you got into the market?
Oh, you lose. In case it drops,
I think my most memorable moment, I mean, I don't want to say it was my first sale.
Okay.
But it was certainly around that.
For sure.
But it didn't just have to do with the transaction, it had to do with the promotion.
Okay.
It had to do with the production of it, the video of it.
Yes.
I love...
What you're killing, by the way.
Thank you.
It looks awesome.
Well, and again, I'm passionate about that, so I think that's coming through.
For sure.
But that whole process,
Yeah.
even ripping around in the jet skis, but it being for a listing.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that? I'm
That's
also
your
having
job,
fun.
yeah.
But it's my job, So I think just overall moments of just being like, wow, I sell and I live here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been to Muskoka. I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
Okay, so, when you're driving around even, you see the big Canadian shield and then you see the water.
Yeah.
And it still happens to me to this day where I'm driving around for showings, which can be a bit daunting to most people.
Yeah.
And I just say to myself, I can't believe this is my life.
Yeah, you don't believe it sometimes.
I don't believe it sometimes. And even, so Wednesdays we do like a caravan tour with the women and the people in my office.
Yeah, cool.
And we go and see the cottages.
Yep.
And one girl's kind of new and she's like, this is our life? And I'm like, yeah.
This is what you guys do every day?
You guys do every day? And it can be as easy as just getting your cell phone out, promoting that you're there, kind of saying the price, and creating a little bit of an emotion behind it, and someone's going to see that and be like, I want that. That's sort of how it started, and it worked. Now I put a lot more love into
100%, 100%, yeah.
Because obviously I learned more about it too, right?
The experience with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think just overall, being able to work and live
in
just pure peace.
For sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So, it's the lifestyle balance.
Yes.
So we're going to get into that a little bit now.
Okay.
So let's talk about, I know even when we were messaging you, trying to get you on, you were excited about it. So
Yes.
we're definitely excited to hear your perspective of it, right? Even not as just as a female, but just it's a whole different area, whole different career path that you've been going through. How do you, what's your outlet when you balance these different careers?
Well, like we kind of mentioned, I have to do personal check-ins.
For sure.
And because I think that my environment and maybe even my ego can direct,
For sure.
And I don't really realize it until I get a little uncomfortable and I'm feeling a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So I have to do these check-ins.
For sure.
I try not to let it get that far because I love doing the meditations and the journaling and the visualizing and giving back. So generally that tends to balance me out.
Okay.
But the thing about Muskoka real estate is it's very seasonal.
Yes.
So you kind of have to capitalize on the season.
Yes.
So it's harder to
For sure.
book those balanced parts.
Yeah.
Right? It's harder too. And I could go a few days and be like, oh shoot, did I even remember to meditate?
Yeah.
I'm too busy.
Can't go out or anything sometimes.
Exactly.
It's hard.
So I have to do these check-ins with myself. I notice them a lot more. I listen to my body a lot more now. But I really try to balance the masculine and the feminine.
For sure.
I really try to have that outlet. I really try to find gratitude. I feel like those things are just as important.
For sure.
Before it was like, they make me feel better.
Yeah, they're help, but now it's...
They're help, yeah. And if I don't do them, I may hit somebody, you know? So before it was like, I should do these.
For sure.
Now I've realized how powerful it is for the other part of my life to actually implement them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I really try to do my feminine activities or feminine energy stuff in the morning.
Okay.
Masculine all day, and then again at night.
Wow.
So whether that means a little bit of journaling, whether that means meditation, a walk, visualizing, and then I move into inspired action.
Okay.
Yeah, and then at the night I kind of just, so another thing, if I get too in my masculine and I get too going in action, what ends up happening is at the night I'm like, I didn't get everything done. There's still more to do. And I'm just up in my mind.
You're overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let's just calm down.
Yeah, take a sec.
Everything can wait. And so I try and do the feminine energy in the bus. So that's sort of my try to do that every single day.
Yeah, that's great.
And then in the summertime, I do try to book my days off.
Nice.
Because what will happen is the summer will be gone, and I have worked the whole time.
Yeah.
And I do fully believe that if I work too hard, that I will miss things. And not just on a personal level, but also on a career level, right? So if I'm not going to the fun events, if I'm not doing the charity things, I may miss a big client. I may miss that $7.5 million listing that I
100% with that music in the side.
Right? Also, I have to say, I say that on this podcast because 10 things keep happening where I'm saying them on the podcast.
And then it's coming true?
Yeah.
So it's a good sign.
So thank you for that. I'll send you guys the check in the mail.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's very important to have the balanced lifestyle, but a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Yes. It's not easy.
It's not easy. So at first you may have to train your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
It will get easier.
Yeah.
And it is a must. That is my main thing for this podcast. It is a must. It's not just to feel good. It's to propel you forward.
It is. It is. That's awesome. It's huge. We hear the perspective of different lifestyles, whether it's real estate, business person, comedy, like whole other perspectives of it. And to see your perspective of it, it's so different, right?
Okay.
So it's great to hear because some people don't know it. Like you said, a lot of people can't find that balance. Yeah. So that's what we try to do. We try to show it as much as we can. So it's awesome.
I like that. I think we've been taught to work hard.
Yes.
Which is not
bad.
No.
Yes.
Work hard, and that's the only way to succeed.
You said it right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's not true.
Yeah.
It's really not. there's a difference between inspired action and just cold hard action.
Yes.
Get out of my way.
Yes.
I'm coming through.
Yes.
Right? Because that's where you spin your wheels as well. Like, I could just get up and do, which is what a lot of people do at the beginning of their career.
Yeah, just keep going.
Just keep doing, and they're not even really doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So if you're not listening and maybe receiving what is good for me, my career, my vision, my future, you're gonna spin your wheels. You're gonna be like a duck with one web foot. You're gonna get around, but you're not gonna get to shore.
You won't. I like that analogy.
You can have that.
It's true. It's true.
It's true, yeah.
Awesome. And so I know you said your vision is possibly your own book coming up, being on the world stage. Yeah. But what do you have for yourself that you want to achieve coming up, maybe in your career, just personally?
Personally, I would like to buy some land and put some cute A-frames on them and have a little bit of a glamping luxury area for people to rent on the water.
Cool.
I would love to do that.
Property,
yes. I am getting a little bit older. I'd love to eventually kind of have a family.
Nice.
That's starting to be the baby fever thing.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm in the wrong areas or not, but so personally, I would love that.
Awesome.
I also run a women's circles.
Cool.
So that's just so fulfilling, and it's not just for women to get together and boycott men. It's actually to love them even deeper.
Awesome.
So on a personal level, I'm leaning a little bit more into that to help me with my feminine.
Your feminine energy.
And I really want to speak more at big events to inspire others to live the lifestyle balanced, live a balanced lifestyle, and also just to really believe in their own power within.
Yes.
That's big for me. That confidence and just trust yourself that you know the answers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm really happy you said that.
It's true. The answers?
Yeah, no, it's like, because even like for myself, like starting this podcast, like you're saying, you really want to be a public speaker, right? You always want to go on that stage. For someone like me and other people, we never really, maybe you can attest to this too, never had that public speaking aspiration, never thought you would be able to do it, and then you go and you keep doing it over and over again, like you're doing all these podcasts, and then you get used to it. It's almost natural now.
It's almost natural now.
It's crazy how that process happens.
Well, and I guess it's kind of like anything. It's kind of like real estate too. Like, I was pretty scared to do real estate. Like,
sell a house. Ooh.
Right? Like, and so that's just great. And I think that's such a nice thing for somebody to hear that's listening to this. Like, it isn't going to feel natural right away.
Never.
Like, nothing is.
Never.
Nothing. Not even the smallest thing. So just believe in yourself and you'll get there. Like, the more times you do it, you're going to feel better. And dig down deep into that passion when you don't feel like doing it.
Yes.
Visualizing is key.
Yes.
I even visualized before I got in here how I would want this podcast to go and how I wanted it to feel.
Awesome.
And
did it feel that way?
It feels great.
Awesome.
Usually they're better than the visualize. Yeah, the visualizing.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Awesome. Well, thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming. It means a lot. First female guys. This is awesome. And we look forward to coming out.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Holly. Let's do this.